The following is a presentation of KSL Sports. First and 12. A total roundup of BYU and Utah football and the expanded Big 12 Conference. Brought to you by Macy's Grocery Stores. Your hosts are Mitch Harper and Alex Kirry on KSL News Radio and the KSL Sports Zone.
You know, it's our second year hosting First and 12. Mitch Harper, Alex Kirry with you. And Alex, I didn't think we'd be having the conversation we're about to have in our next segment right now, these power rankings.
The Big 12 Power Rankings, a weekly rank of all 16 programs, from the elite to the bottom dwellers.
Let's just unpack these power rankings, Alex, and the conversation I didn't think we'd have, at least this year. The number one spot in the Big 12 power rankings after Week 5, heading into Week 6, the BYU Cougars.
Oh, you freaking homer. I knew it, bro. You know we're going to get some of that. Look, I told you.
Number one.
Oh, my gosh. BYU is number one. Now, you know how these rankings go. If you've ever heard our program, the power rankings are all over the place. And in this conference, even more so. Like, they just get wild every week. I mean, they are all over the place. I mean, last week, and really the most consistency we had was Utah at the top of the billing for quite some time. I think this was the first week they're not number one. And now they don't even feel like they're even close to number one. So BYU won. You and I had a discussion about whether or not Iowa State should be in that conversation, because Iowa State was 2 last week and BYU was 3. So BYU leapfrogs Iowa State. Was it enough to get that win over Baylor on the road to look like? I think some of it has to do with the fact that some of the teams they've beaten, your SMUs, your Kansas States, are back to being good freaking teams again. And then it just makes BYU look – those wins over SMU, over Kansas State. By the way, Wyoming, I think, blew the doors off of the freaking Air Force Academy yesterday. So there are things going on in this poll that I don't know much about. And Matt Campbell and his guys might be – and by the way, BYU avoids Iowa State this year on the schedule. Like, that's pretty crazy. So BYU won, Iowa State 2. I'm okay with it. Kansas State rebounds this week at number 3. And that was as big of a win yesterday as anybody had across the entire conference, the Wildcats getting back on track.
Yeah, that was a huge win. But, going back to BYU at number 1, that their body of work to this point, I think it deserves it. And, look, this could be concern for the Big 12, and maybe it's just always been concerning the whole season that this league is maybe at best, the 15th best team is the number 1 team in this league.
It could be, yeah.
In a world where it's all about SEC and Big Ten, you hate to think that. You'd like to see this league produce maybe a top 5 worthy team, and that's going to be the challenge going forward. But why not BYU if they can keep up their hot streak? Cougs at number 1. But you mentioned,
don't feel like you have to defend your thesis here, Mitch. Look.
Oh no, I think BYU deserves it. I just think
I do too.
But I think for Cougar fans though, it's just still jarring. They can't wrap their mind around it, because then they hear that and they go, then the fall is going to be immense. Yeah. It's like, no, like there's still, you can drop 2 games, BYU, and guess what? How this league plays out, you could still go to Arlington and play in the Big 12 championship game. That's how crazy it is right now.
It is wild. So Iowa State 2, Kansas State 3. We've come to consensus on these, by the way. Mitch and I have to have a unanimous 2-person vote on this. So Arizona bumps all the way up to number 4. I have to go back and look to see where they were last week. Yeah, they were 10th. So that was one of the biggest jumps we've seen. Now, you beat the number 10 ranked Utah Utes at their place and have the better defense, you automatically are going to get moved up that list. And Utah finds themselves behind Arizona at 5 now that they're 4-1 in the season, having lost to the Wildcats. I did not think we'd be saying that this week, Mitch, but here we are.
And, Utah takes a big fall. And, look, they're still going to be one of the hardest outs in this league. And if Cam Rising ever does come back, they're only going to get tougher. And, look, Isaac Wilson's going to bounce back. I mean, he's going to get better. But it's not a guarantee that you just walk into an 11-win season with Isaac Wilson compared to what you felt like it would be with Cam Rising. So the Utes take a tumble at number 5. Number 6, a team surging, Colorado.
And you wanted to put them at 3, right? Isn't that right? Am I getting? No,
I was considering it. I was.
You're
Look,
going to put them way too far up, but they're 4-1.
I fall in love with that skill position talent. I love Colorado's skill talent, and Travis Hunter I really think we need to have a conversation that Travis Hunter might be the best college football player I've seen since Reggie Bush.
Don't let him play two ways in the pros, please. Don't do this thing where he needs to play both ways in the NFL. Stop it. Let this kid be a defender the rest of his career. Let him earn all the money he can.
But if he wants to do it, why not? Let him do it.
Because somebody's got to get to him and go, hey, man, do you want to have a 12-year career or a 6.5-year career? Then come on, pick a position. Texas Tech with the win over Cincinnati, 44-41, goes to 7. UCF takes a tumble down the list. That was a team we were ready to put pretty far up, I think. If they would have beaten Colorado down at the bounce house with Utah's result, I think we would have had UCF kind of right there at that Iowa State, Kansas State type level. I don't know if I would have had UCF ahead of Kansas State, maybe behind Iowa State, but that's about it. Arizona State off this week. They're number 9 in the list. West Virginia also, they didn't play this week, right? Now they start to think about it.
They were a bye week, yeah.
Bye week as well. Cincy starts to move up a little bit on the board. Even though they lost, 11 is about where they're at. I mean, they moved up the list because I think they've still been a little bit impressive, right?
And they put up 41 points, and they were competitive, and it was a good showing. And we got to monitor Corey Kiner. Their star running back, he left the game with what appeared to be an injury, so that's going to be big for them going forward. But, Cincinnati is a much better football team than what they were last year, and they've got 2 losses by a combined 4 points.
Yeah.
And I think also it's a case of the seller is not good right now in this league. Number 12, a massive fall. And they'll jump back up. I mean, Oklahoma State's not going to fall much further from this. I don't think they're going to be a title contender, but Oklahoma State at number 12, man, 0-2, first time since 2005 that the Pokes are 0-2 in Big 12 play. They are struggling, and Ollie Gordon, why did he bother coming back? He should have just gone to the NFL or go into the transfer portal and get a multi-million-dollar payday, because going back to Stillwater is just not working for him.
I don't call it Stillwater right now. I call it Dogwater, which is where Oklahoma State lives currently at number 12 on the list. TCU is 13. Look, and that's after they were able to get a win over Kansas, but Kansas isn't anywhere on our list either. So Baylor at 14, the hapless Kansas Jayhawks at 15, even wearing the all reds yesterday with their rock chalk gear, not cool enough to be able to get that win. They just keep giving up late points. They can never come back. And Houston hasn't scored a point in 3 weeks. Welcome to the very bottom of your power ranking poll there, Mitch.
And with TCU, we're not going to be fooled by a Josh Hoover special game and then project and say, oh, they're in the top 5. We've been down that road before.
Leipold in the
Kansas
postgame was like, oh, Hoover, what a good guy. You're like, get out of here. Get out of here. All right.
I can't believe that I thought Kansas could win this league. I'm still discussing that.
We're all disappointed in you. All right. 1-4 Kansas, is 15, and then Houston 16. All right. We'll take the break here. We'll come back. We have our final segment coming up. We will go through the entire schedule next week. By the way, spoiler alert, BYU and Utah both on bye weeks here locally, and so are some of the other big teams in the conference. So stay right here. It is First and 12, brought to you by Macy's Grocery Store. Happy shopping. More to go on your Sunday. 97.5 KSL Sports Zone and 102.7 FM KSL News Radio.